Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel, Hume's Little Homestead. Today is all about what I have learned about peppers. I'm excited to show you what I am doing and what I learned from last year. Alright, let's get to it. Before I show you everything that we've got going on, I want to talk to you a little bit about peppers and what I've learned. So last year was kind of my last try at peppers because I plant them every year, and what I was doing wrong was I treated them exactly like tomatoes. So I would start them at the same time as tomatoes, I would plant them outside at the same time as tomatoes, and fertilize them the same as tomatoes. And I got researching last year because I was like, this is the last time I try peppers. I plant them every year. The plants just are really tiny, and I never had seen a single pepper on my own pepper plants. Maybe one. I had one tiny little bell pepper 2 years ago. And I was like, it's just not worth it. If they're not gonna grow, like, why would I plant them? And so I decided to do some research and give it one last try. And I learned a lot about peppers last year. What I learned is that they are in the nightshade family like tomatoes, but you cannot treat them like tomatoes because they are tropical plants. So they need a lot of different conditions. So this year, well, last year I started my tomatoes and peppers at the same time, but I noticed again that my peppers just grow really a lot slower than tomatoes. So peppers, you have to be patient. Like pea, there's like 4 peas of peppers. Patient, pruning, I posted about this the other day on my Facebook. I can't remember my 4 P's. Anyways, one of the P's is patience. You just have to be patient. Oh, they're picky. Peppers are picky about the soil they want. And anyway, so I can't remember my 4 P's, but that's fine. So what I did this year, well, last year I got peppers on my plants. My plants grew bigger than I had ever seen them. They weren't huge or anything like I've seen other YouTubers do. Way bigger, prettier pepper patches than mine, but mine actually fluffed out and got pretty and produced peppers. I didn't have enough peppers to can or use or anything. We used a lot in salsas, so we had a lot of fresh salsa last summer, which was delicious. But this year, I'm hoping to get enough peppers to can and to add into like sauces. And anyway, I'm really excited about what I learned from last year. So last year I learned that you need to prune peppers and that you need to start peppers earlier and that you need to wait until it's like above 60 degrees Fahrenheit to plant them outside. Overnight temperatures need to be above 60 degrees, which is pretty warm, like is a lot warmer than I thought, like because the ground temperature has to be at that. So you think the air temperature is 60, but sometimes the ground temperature is still like 55, and peppers just cannot handle that. So anyway, I wanted to show you some money-saving tips that I do to start my plants. So you can buy, like, I have these little seed starter things. You can buy these are eggplants. You can buy, you know, they have them in like every Walmart right now, Home Depot, Lowe's, Tractor Supply. They have all these little like specifically seed planting things, but it's like, I don't know, $5 or $7 to buy the flat of these. And so to save on money, I just plant my seeds in little cups. The one thing about the cups, though, is they don't have drainage holes. And last year, I started all of my seeds in red Solo cups. And I put a drainage hole in them. But because I start all my seeds in my house, it was kind of a mess. There was just water everywhere. So this year, I didn't put drainage holes in them. But if you don't put drainage holes, you have to be very mindful that when you're watering your peppers or any plant that you plant in those cups, you don't overwater. So you water them and then you let the soil completely dry out and then you water them again. Not when they're first seedlings. When they're first seedlings, you have to water them every day and make sure the soil is moist enough for them to sprout. But anyway, I got this from Sam's Club, this whole bag of cups. I don't know, it's 300 cups. So I can start 300 plants. And I think this was $10. It was $5 or $10 for that big thing of cups. And so that is one way you can save money when you're starting your garden. You don't have to go out and buy all the specialized seed stuff. And I bought a really big bag of just regular Miracle-Gro potting soil. I don't think that counts as organic. So if you're trying to go completely, totally organic, you might want to do some more research on your seed starting potting mix. But I just wanted the Miracle-Gro potting mix just because I just wanted to give my seeds a good start. I try to be as organic as I can, but there are some things where I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to get this big thing of potting soil and it should be okay. When I put them out in the ground, my ground is not treated at all with anything. So, okay, so I'm going to show you what I have going on now. Before I show you the peppers that are growing, I want to show you the seeds I purchased this year. Now I bought some of these on Amazon. I bought 2 of them from private party sellers, and I bought some at Walmart. So I don't have exact links or anything for these, but what I was doing was I knew I wanted to do peppers this year. I wanted to try a bunch of different kinds of peppers. So anytime I saw peppers at like Walmart, I just picked them up. Like, I haven't seen this variety, or I did a lot of shopping online and found a bunch of different varieties. One pack I bought, it was like 8 packs all together, and that's what came in this little box. So these Ancho pepper seeds I'm going to try this year. This is just a business card. These are the 2 seeds that came. These are pepperoncinis, or peppercini. I don't really know exactly how you want to say that. And then I planted habaneros. I'm making some chocolate cake right now, and the timer just went off. 1 second. So habanero. I did sweet peppers. I only got 1 bell pepper last year, so I'm going to try a few things with the sweet peppers, and hopefully I will be able to get them to bush out. Just the thing that I've noticed with sweet peppers is, and bell peppers in general, is that the pepper gets so big that the plant has a hard time. Like, my plants never seem to get very big, so I'm going to try and fertilize them or something and get the plants to grow bigger. Pasilla, I don't know if it's Pasilla or Pasilla. Probably Pasilla. Bajío? I don't know. Jalafuego. So I'm excited for these. They're supposed to be real, like, giant jalapenos, so good for stuffing, like stuffed jalapenos. Early jalapeno, Serrano, Cayenne pepper. So last year my Cayenne peppers that I grew were amazing. They were so prolific. So I'm excited to try this blend that I got, because last year the ones I got, they weren't very spicy. Our church sold seeds last year, and so that's where I got my Cayenne peppers. But this year I went ahead and splurged and bought an actual seed pack that was from Amazon. Thai hot, so I'm pretty excited for some Asian food. And Santaka. And this is a Japanese hot chili pepper. So those are the varieties I'm growing. And I have, my varieties are like, you'll see I have 3 different stages of peppers right now. So I have some that I just replanted, so some didn't germinate. And the reason is, this year, instead of planting 2 seeds per pot, I just did 1 seed per pot. And so I didn't have, like, 3 of my peppers didn't germinate, so I just barely put new seeds in. So anyway, I'm going to show you the peppers now. This is an old book. So this is an old bookshelf that we used. And the easiest thing to do with these clear cups, as you can see, is I just write on there exactly what the pepper is. And I'm going to be planting tomatoes in a week from now. I'm trying to hold off because I get too excited to plant my tomatoes, and then they get too big, and they're too big to go outside. We always have a weird late freeze. So this is an old bookshelf that we have converted into like a growing station. So there's some onions I have down there. I had those actually on a table, but we just moved them over here. And we have a grow light here, but I needed to order another cord because I lost my cord. I'm very unorganized. But I'm thinking I would like to have 2 grow lights per shelf. So I think, oh, that's fuzzy. Yeah, I can back up. So I'd like to have 2 grow lights. So I think I'm going to order another grow light. And I'll put a link in the description box of which grow lights I use. And I used them last year for the first time. And it was a game changer. My plants were so much healthier and stronger before I put them outside. Because I start my plants in the house because right now I don't have the means for a greenhouse yet. But anyway, you can see I have my Cayenne, Thai Hot, Sweet Pepper, Ancho, and they're all doing really well. I'm going to turn the light off so you can see a little better. They're all growing really well. So this is like the middle stage. They've all sprouted. They're starting to get their first true leaves. So, but you can see these ones in the middle that have been under this light, that they have that leaf, and the other ones don't yet. See, that one wasn't getting as much light. And I will also put a fan on these when they get a little bigger, and that will help their stem strengthen. So that's another thing I do. With starting your seeds in the house, there's just no conditions to strengthen your plants, and they need that opposing force of like a fan to strengthen them. So here's all my little baby peppers. This isn't all of them. This is just one section of them. These are the ones I started a couple of weeks ago. I have some that I started 2 months ago, and I'm going to show you those 2 right now. All right. So we are in my bathroom. This is where I started all of those pepper plants that I just showed you. I had them all spread out amongst my bathroom counter, and I still have quite a few in here, and I'm getting ready to show you what they look like. But I just wanted to let you know that's where I started them all, because my bathroom is actually the warmest room in my house. And so to get them to germinate the best germination rate possible, I started them in the bathroom where it was warm, and you know, when we take a shower it gets humid, so it's like kind of the perfect condition to start seeds. So I'm going to start with the ones that I just barely re-sowed. Is that how you say it? Replanted, reseeded yesterday. It's these 4 right here. I have an Ancho, a peppercini, and then 2 Habaneros. The Habaneros, I only had 1 seed germinate, so I don't know if they're just a little more picky about their conditions, but what I do is I cover them with a plastic wrap, so you only have to like spray them once, and then you can check. You can lift this up and check your dirt and make sure it's nice and moist, and it is. And just make sure it stays nice and warm for these plants. So that's how I start seeds, is putting this plastic wrap. And I'll do a full video of how I'm going to start my tomatoes next week. So I'll show you exactly how I start tomatoes, and it's the same way I start peppers and really any seed that needs to be started inside. This is just stage number 1, where they're covered with plastic, you keep them moist, and they're in these little cups that I showed you already. Over here I have, once they sprout, they need to go under a grow light. So I'll show you how ghetto I am. It's like a curtain rod for a curtain rod, and it was just perfect for a grow light. So here's my other grow light and my other peppers. And these are the ones I started a couple of months ago. So you can see they're getting bigger. And this is the one we're going to actually prune today, and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's kind of scary, but I swear that's why my peppers did so good yesterday, because once you cut this top off, you want to make sure you have 6 true leaves. So once you have 6 true leaves, you can just cut the top off, and then it will force these babies, see these baby shoots that it has already? It'll force those to get bigger and stronger, and it'll also force your stem to get thicker. And I saw that it really worked last year. So, but these little babies are not ready for that. They only have their first true leaves really coming in. So, but this is what they look like. And it's funny, I planted these 2 at the same time, but you can see this one is bigger, and I think it's just bigger because it has a bigger pot. It also had it was higher and closer to the light, so more access to light. But this one will do fine, but I'm not going to trim this one today. But I will show you how to trim this one today. So these ones are the same age as the ones that I showed you on the bookshelf, and they're all doing really well. I wanted to show you. So this is step 1, is you cover them and you put them in the the dirt. And then step 2, and you make sure they're watered. You make sure they're watered very well at this stage. Like they need to be kept moist, humid. That's the best conditions for them. And then when they get to this step right here, so this is the same kind of plant, you put them under the grow light. And then you're gonna wait to water them until the soil dries out. So right now, the soil is moist. So you keep the soil moist. No, you let it dry out completely because we don't have any holes in the bottom. So let the soil dry out and then you can water it again. So it doesn't necessarily need to be watered every day. And then our third step to growing them inside is you're going to trim this top off, which I will show you now. I just wanted to show you the 3 different stages. You know, there's nothing, and then there's a little baby plant that you get under a grow light, and then you don't water it every day. You just water it when it dries out, and then you prune it. And I'm gonna prune this one once. I'm not sure if I'll get back to you if I'm gonna prune it more, but for now I'm just gonna prune it once. All right, so I actually have some hair cutting scissors here that are very sharp, so I'm just gonna use those. So we're gonna count. We want this plant to have 6 leaves on it still when we do this, okay? So we're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't wanna take that leaf. We're gonna keep this leaf on there because that's number 6. So I'm literally just gonna cut this. And it makes me so nervous. Like I feel like maybe I should wait a little longer, but I'm just gonna do it. Let me make sure I get a good angle for you. If you can hear, my tortoise is moving around in here. Okay, I'm gonna cut it right there. Okay, and I know it seems sad, but it'll be okay. So there's what we trimmed off. If it was a little bigger, I'd probably take more off, but I'm not gonna take very much off. Just that one pruning job it'll force the plant to force its energy into this part. And these it'll bush up and get bushier and thicker, and so that's all you do. You just take the very top off. All right. I hope those tips were helpful for growing peppers. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my little homestead today, and that's all that I learned about peppers last year. And I am hopeful that using the same tips that I did last year, I will get even bigger plants this year, especially because I started them earlier, and I'm going to be patient before I put them out in the garden. And I'm going to start, I wasn't aggressive in pruning my peppers last year because I was really, really scared to try it. So I'm starting out being a little more aggressive at pruning, you know, when they're a little smaller. So maybe they'll have more of a head start since I'm starting to prune them earlier. Last year my peppers had grown so long and lanky last year. And I got online and found out about pruning them, and so then I pruned them. But I think if I would have pruned them when there was only those first 6 leaves, I think that it would have been more beneficial to the plants. So I was happy to get a pepper. Last year my goal was to just get some peppers that we could eat in our salsa and eat fresh. This year my goal, I want to have more peppers. So I'm hoping that I can get my goals. Anyway, I hope you had a great time hanging out with me today, and thanks for stopping by our little homestead. Bye!